Um, if I tend to be a little bit emotional today, I apologize because we lost our pastor, Pastor Doy Castillo, who was like a father to us. And I've been involved with the Duterte campaign and with Chief PNP Bato, and grabe po yung tama sa media na as if Wild Wild West tayo. 14,000 plus lang ang sweldo ng mga pulis. Hindi lahat may gamit. And then napapatayan din sila. Pero hindi pa tayo naglo-launch ng investigasyon kung paano sila pwede tulungan. Sila na iniimbestigahan natin. So my apologies if I tend to be a little bit emotional. Having said that, Madam Chair, I thank you for your assurances at the start of this hearing. Senator Joel yielded his 5 minutes to the opening statement so I can complete my presentation. Madam Chair.
Excuse me, Senator Alan?
Yes.
You said that Senator Villan, Joel.
Everyone has 5 minutes, so under the tradition of the Senate, usually
only
another
the senators
senator.
who wish to deliver
Yes,
their
he
opening
wished to give his statement, and
so
he'll give
may I
it to
ask
me.
Senator Villanueva whether he did intend to deliver his own opening statement?
I wasn't supposed, but considering that there's a request from our good friend, we will yield the 5 minutes, Madam Chair.
With due respect to
Madam
Senator
Chair.
Alan Peter Cayetano,
Madam
I
Chair.
don't believe that, as mentioned,
Well,
just
Madam Chair,
admitted,
usually we
Senator
respect each other here,
Villanueva
no?
just said that he did not intend to deliver a statement.
I will just talk very fast, Madam
Thank
Chair.
you.
But usually, let me put on the record, we respect each other's opinion here, and it's not a matter of intent to give a opening statement. If
Thank you.
everyone is allowed to give a statement, you can yield your time, whether it's in the questions. You are new here, so I will understand that. But that has been the
Thank you.
tradition here in
Please
the
proceed.
Senate.
Thank you.
May my time just start now, please. When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice, but when the wicked bears rule, the people mourn. I'm not talking about the Aquinos, Arroyos, or the Dutertes. When the drug lords rule, people mourn. But when the law enforcers, the righteous, are the one ruling, walang patayan, may katahimikan sa ating bansa. Next slide. It is being made to appear in the media and with no help by some so-called human rights advocates. Next slide, please. That grabe ang patayan araw-araw. Please take note from 2010 to 2015 during the Aquino administration, an average of 35 ang patay araw-araw. Ngayon po, sa ilalim ni Presidente Duterte, 20 po. No, more than about a third are now, their lives are now being saved every day because of the efforts of the PNP. Next slide. The old norm was drug lords and their cohorts acted with impunity. People have low trust sa PNP, fiscals, judges, high-ranking government officials are involved in the illegal trade or protectors, and people hindi nakakadama na secure sa kanilang bahay, sa kalye, sa kanilang trabaho. Ngayon po, the respect and fear for the law has been restored. Drug lords and their supporters are on the run. People are beginning to feel safe, renewed trust on our law enforcers and government under President Duterte. Next slide. Are we using the term extrajudicial killings loosely to discredit the PNP and Duterte administration? Whether it is the Commission on Human Rights or our dear chairperson, I was hoping that they would educate the people more and the media para hindi sila ma-mislead na lahat ng patay ay extrajudicial killings. Bakit po? Ito po ang sinabi ng dalawang justice. Next slide. There is a need for a clear-cut killing of what the extrajudicial killing is. The name is a misnomer since every killing outside death penalty is extrajudicial. Dalawang justice po nagsabi niyan. So ano po ang ginawa ng Aquino administration? Gumawa po sila ng AO35. Di ko na babasahin dahil 5 minutes lang oras ko. Next slide. Dito po ang importante. The victim was a member or affiliated of an organization to include political, environmental, agrarian, labor, or similar causes. An advocate of the above-named causes, a media practitioner, etc. Ibig sabihin po, labor leader ka, media ka, religious leader, pinatay ka dahil sa paniniwala mo. Next slide. That was very clear for the purpose of the focused mandate of AO35 na ginawa ng Aquino administration. Ang common criminals at ang crime sa kanila hindi kasama sa extrajudicial killings. Next slide. Yan po ang pirma ng dating Secretary de Lima, Department of Justice, IAC Chair. So alam po nila yan. Lahat ng nagpapa-interview sa CHR at ating mahal na chairperson, alam po nila yan. Next slide. Sa araw-araw na patayan sa Aquino administration na 35, mahigit 1,400, 394 lang ang classify nila na extrajudicial killing. Pero sa umpisa pa lang ng hearing na to, kung ano nung numero na narinig natin eh. Did they clarify which one is extrajudicial and not? Which one are common criminals? Next slide. Kaya ano ho ba sabi ng isa nilang kakampi na Human Rights Watch? Unresolved or basically failure ang kanilang watch pagdating sa pagre-resolve ng extrajudicial killings. Eh ba't hindi yun ang munang imbestigahan natin bago sa extrajudicial killings ngayon? O okay lang dati, ngayon masama. Next slide. People now now beginning to feel safe in the streets and trust our law enforcers. Beginning. Hindi ko po sinasabing safe lahat, pero nag-uumpisa na. Next slide. Kung makikita nyo po yung crime volume, ayan po, hindi ko nababasahin isa-isa because of lack of time, pero makikita nyo, crimes against property, 11,000 to 6,000 in 1 month. Bakit po? Ang mga pusher at saka user, kailangan ng pera, walang trabaho yung marami dyan, nagnanakaw. But because nagsosurrender na yung mga user, nahuhuli ang pusher, pababa ang crime volume. Next. People support the anti-war drugs. Criminals don't. Ang mga kriminal at drug pusher gumagastos ngayon sa media, sa politika, sa politiko, sa kahit ano, para i-discredit ang administrasyon na to, para nga tumuloy ang kanilang multi-billion na negosyo. I'm not saying that everyone is being used. Marami pong honest advocates for human rights, honest advocates of how to do this better. But let us not fool ourselves, marami din sa mga drug lords ang pumupondo dito. Next slide. Hindi rin totoo na lahat ng sektor ayaw. Basilan Bishop Martin Humawad is pinning his hopes on the new president. Next slide. This is another one na nagsasabing maganda nangyayari at kahit hindi pa nakaupo ang bagong presidente, after he won, nagsimula ng mga pulis magsipag at tumapang. Next slide. Anti-drug operations, 215% increase in anti-drug operations. I agree with the chairperson. Hindi intensyon ng committee na to pahintuin yan. Ang problema, the way to hell is full of good intentions. It is not the intention, it is the effect. Ang mga pulis nanunood lahat. At kung lalabas na sila pa kontrabida ngayon, baka yung iba umatras. Kaya hindi mo mapigilan ang ating Pangulo na maging emosyonal sa kanyang 100% support. Next slide, anti-drug arrest. Next slide. The average Aquino haul for drugs, 412 million a month. So far, the average for Duterte, 2.3 billion in 48 days. Next slide. Next slide. They say we are drawing flack from various sectors. Next slide. Tingnan niyo po to. The Philippine War sa ABS-CBN. Outrage over extrajudicial killings. Yung outrage, no? Anong pinapalabas? Na lahat na lang napatay, extrajudicial killings, na may outrage. Pero yung news, na sa sulok-sulok ng ating bansa, masaya ang mga tao, nasaan yon? Dito sa Inquirer, the kill list ang tawag nila. During the Aquino administration, mas marami ang patay. May kill list ba kayo? Pero ngayon, sa Duterte administration, gumawa pa kayo ng sarili niyong pangalan, the kill list. Paano po hindi sasama loob ng ating mga alagad ng batas, ng NBI, PDEA, Police, na nung panahon na walang ginagawa, dun sa araw-araw na patayan, ay okay lang. Ang tawag nyo, riding in tandem, ang tawag nyo, ganito, murder, homicide. Ngayon na may ginagawa sila at mas konti ang patay, kill list ang tawag. Lastly, Madam Chair, have we ever asked the PNP what they need? I was hoping, and I suggested this in our first hearing, sana bago tayo mag-hearing at akusahan sila, patawag muna natin. Ano kailangan nyo? Sweldo nyo, napakababa. Kailangan nyo ba ng equipment? Next slide. Alam nyo po ba, sa alalim ng batas, 201 dapat ang pulis natin. Kulang ng 40,000 na pulis. Next slide. Ang sweldo ng pulis, 4,834. Next slide. Ito po ang combat pay, 11 pesos a day. Sa pulis po, 933 a day. 10 piso, soft drinks lang yun eh. O, ni bottled water, hindi kayo makakabili. So, Madam Chair, I will stop there because of lack of time, but the point I'm making, can you go to the next slide first? Next.
Is this the last
Yes,
point?
this last slide.
Let's
Yes,
wrap up.
Madam Chair.
Time
Next
is up.
slide. Next slide. Next. Here, Madam Chair. Wala po akong problema, dahil ako isang human rights advocate din, kung indiscriminate o ang police ay may utos na wag niyong gawin ito. Pero titignan niyo po to, mismong PNP ang may memorandum na nagsabi na lahat ng unexplained, lahat ng vigilante, imbestigahan. And hindi ko na ipapakita dahil wala ng time, pero yung last slide ko po dito ay ang statement ng ating Pangulo at statement ni Chief PNP Ronald De La Rosa alias Bato, na nagsasabing, ayan po, ayoko ng extrajudicial killings. So thank you, Madam Chair, that you said we will be fair. But sana sa mga interviews at mga kapatid natin sa media, maging fair din. Kasi panay ang report nyo na ayaw ng Pangulo, na gusto ng Pangulo at ng PNP ng extrajudicial. Pero yan po ang sinasabi nila, yan ang official. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Noong 2 ng Agosto, sa akin pong privilege speech dito sa Senado, inilahad natin ang nakakaalarmang usapin ng laganap at karumal-dumal na mga patayan sa ating bayan. Hindi lang ito naging laman ng balita sa ating bansa. Sa buong mundo, pinag-uusapan din tayo. Tulad ng marami sa atin, nababahala ako sa kaliwat kanang patayan na inaalmusal natin kada umaga. Araw-araw na lang ang balitang may bagong napatay dahil nanlaban daw o nang agaw ng baril ang biktima. Marami na rin po ang pinaslang ng di kilalang mga salarin na kinabibilangan malamang ng mga vigilante. Binalot ng packaging tape at pinatungan ng cardboard na may mensaheng pusher o kaya hold upper, ako, huwag tularan. Nais po nating malaman ang katotohanan sa likod ng mga nasabing patayan at karahasan. Ano nga ba ang tunay na nangyari at bakit patuloy itong nangyayari? Hindi ko sinasabing ang lahat ng nagaganap na pagpatay sa operasyon ng mga pulis ay walang legal na batayan sa paggamit ng lethal force. Masyado lang marami ngayon ang napapatay sa mga enkwentro kumpara sa mga nakaraang panahon para hindi magduda kung nasusunod ba talaga ang rules of engagement. Doon naman po sa usapin ng vigilante killings o pagpatay ng mga di kilalang salarin, hindi rin natin sinasabi na may kinalaman ng gobyerno sa pagkalat ng mga death squad. May indikasyon na hindi lahat ng mga pagpaslang ay may kaugnayan sa kampanya laban sa droga ng gobyerno. Mayroong mga nakikisakay at nakikisabay lang sa lehitimong operasyon ng kapulisan para makatakas sa batas at para pagtakpan ang kanilang partisipasyon sa kalakalan ng droga. Kailangan po nating malaman kung ang sinasabing mga vigilante killings sa buong bansa ay magkakaugnay at bunsod ng isang organisadong pagkilos ng mga individual o grupo sa labas o loob man ng gobyerno. As I have said, my concern does not only revolve around the growing tally of killings reported by the Philippine National Police. What is particularly worrisome is that the campaign against drugs seems to be an excuse for some, may I just emphasize, some law enforcers and other elements like vigilantes to commit murder with impunity. Last August 18, Police Director General Ronald De La Rosa reported to the Senate Committee on Public Order and Illegal Drugs that there are 665 drug suspects killed in police operations from July 1 to August 15. But what is even more disturbing is that in the same hearing, the PNP chief stated that there are 899 drug-related deaths committed by unknown killers during the same period. Out of this figure, only 22 cases were filed in NCRPO. Grabe ito. Katumbas po yan ng 35 tao na patay kada araw. 35 persons being killed. Certain media outlets report different figures. The ABS-CBN Research and Investigative Group cites that there are 1,127 alleged drug offenders killed from May 10 to August 19. According to the report, 666 were killed during police operations, while 343 suspects were killed by unidentified assailants. GMA News and the Philippine Daily Inquirer, as shown on the screen, also tallied different numbers. How do we account for these differences? Why are there killings in such magnitude? What provides for the seeming continued impunity of those behind vigilantism and summary executions? Bukod pa sa mga tanong na ito, mahalaga pong malaman sino ang mga biktima, sino ang mga pumapatay, saan ito nangyayari. May investigasyon ba o kasong sinasampa o isinasampa pagkatapos ng insidente? Aling ahensya o mga ahensya ang nag-iimbestiga? Saan po ba hahantong ang kampanyang ito? These are the questions that disturb me, both in my capacity as senator and as a Filipino. These are the same questions that the Filipino people would like to have answered. There is no indication that the statistics on killings of alleged drug suspects will go down anytime soon. How many people need to die before we act to correct this alarming situation? Buhay po ng tao ang pinag-uusapan dito, hindi lang basta numero. Sa bawat natagpo ang bangkay sa kalsada, may nawalan ng kapatid, magulang at asawa, may naulilang pamilya, may gumuhong kinabukasan at pag-asa. I strongly believe extrajudicial or extralegal killings, whether perpetrated by the state or by non-state actors, must stop. Blatant disregard for human life has to stop. It is for these reasons that we hold the Senate inquiry in aid of legislation to address the rampant summary executions of alleged drug suspects. We have invited witnesses, families, and relatives of the victims who will be allowed to share under oath their stories and accounts of the alleged killings. The corresponding testimonies are supported by their respective affidavits, which will be forwarded to the proper agencies for investigation and/or prosecution. Mayroon po tayong 12 saksi sa 8 kaso ng pagpatay na may 11 mga biktima. 12 witnesses in 8 cases involving 11 victims. Malinaw po na ang mga kasong ito ay maliit na bahagi lamang ng mahigit 1,000 insidente ng pagpatay sa operasyon ng mga polis o ng mga hindi kilalang salarin. Sa pamamagitan nila, nais natin na malaman ang kwento sa likod ng mga insidente ng pagpatay. Hindi po natin layunin na imbestigahan ang lahat ng kaso ng pagpatay. Hindi po natin kayang gawin yan. Kung hindi bigyan ng linaw lamang ang mga tanong na bumabalot sa ating isipan tungkol sa mga pangyayaring ito. Mahirap din pong makahanap at makakuha ng mga saksi na kusang loob na magtetestigo sa harap ng publiko. Ang iilan na haharap sa atin sa pagdinig na ito ay lumapit sa Commission on Human Rights upang humingi ng tulong sa pagpaslang sa kanilang mga mahal sa buhay. Nagpapasalamat po tayo sa CHR sa pamumuno ni Chair Chito Gascon at nandito po sila bilang resource speakers. We also invited the leadership of the PNP, headed by Director General De La Rosa, to serve as resource speakers, as well as members of the academe, various non-government organizations, and media networks. Let this be clear. The Senate is not a court of law or a quasi-judicial body. This Senate investigation is in aid of legislation, where the technical rules of evidence are not strictly applied. Our focus here is on the criminal acts to be addressed, not on the prosecution of the alleged perpetrators. The following are our objectives. Number 1, to determine or check on the abuses committed by law enforcers conducting operations in pursuit of those who are allegedly involved in the illegal drug trade. 2, to reinforce our legal regime to address the phenomenon of vigilantism and summary killings. 3, to enhance legal mechanisms of accountability of state and non-state actors. 4, to strengthen the roles and responsibilities of relevant government agencies, especially the Commission on Human Rights, the Internal Affairs Service of the PNP, the Ombudsman, and the National Bureau of Investigation that are mandated to investigate cases of extrajudicial killings and summary executions that are perpetrated and or tolerated by public officers. And 5, to institute legislative measures to ensure that fundamental rights, especially the right to life, are respected by authorities. This 5-fold agenda of the proposed Senate Resolution number 9 can be subsumed under a general goal of improving our system of laws in connection with the prevention and investigation of extrajudicial killings and summary executions and those that relate to the mechanisms of accountability for those involved in these abhorrent activities. What accounts for the weakness in the legal system? What is the explanation for the reality versus law gap in the prevention and investigation of this type of killings? What provides for the seeming continued impunity of those behind vigilantism and summary executions? Are our laws sufficient to address these problems? Do we have those laws? Or are our current set of laws being implemented properly to deal with such phenomenon? These are the bottom line questions in the view of the chair in this inquiry. Sa investigasyong ito, sisikapin nating malaman, sapat ba ang umiiral na batas para tugunan ang patuloy na tumataas na bilang ng extrajudicial killings sa bansa? Kung sapat ang ating mga batas, maayos ba itong ipinapatupad para masigurong hindi ito inaabuso ng ilang tiwaling grupo o personalidad? Linawin ko lang po, hindi layunin ng investigasyong ito na pigilin o pahinain ang kampanya laban sa droga ng kasalukuyang administrasyon. Nais pa po natin itong palakasin habang sinisigurong walang batas na nilalabag, walang karapatang niyuyurakan at walang buhay na nilalapastangan. Gusto din natin patibayin pa ang kakakayahan ng ating mga kapulisan sa paglaban sa droga sa pamamagitan ng mga panukalang batas upang gabayan sila sa tamang pagtupad ng tungkulin. Hinihikayat ko po ang lahat na subaybayan ng mga pagdinig na ito ng Senado. Samahan ninyo po kaming suriin, imbestigahan at tukuyin ang katotohanan tungo sa mas mapayapa, mas makatarungan at makataong lipunan. Maraming salamat po. Maraming salamat po. We now recognize Police Director General Ronald De La Rosa.
To the Honorable Chair, the Senate Committee on Justice and Human Rights, Senator Leila De Lima, ma'am, the Vice Chair, and members of the committee, good morning. Salamat po sa pagkakataon na may pahayag ang mga adhikain ng pambansang pulisya sa pakikipaglaban sa illegal na droga. Sa pagupo pa lamang ng ating Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte, batid na po namin na magiging malaking hamon ang pagtupad sa kanyang direktibang masugpo ang illegal na droga sa bansa. As of February 2016, the PDEA reported that 27% of 11,321 out of the country's 42,065 barangays, mostly in urban areas, are drug affected. On record, NCR has the highest rate of affectation with 1,611 or 94% of the total number of barangays, followed by Calabarzon with more or less 3,000 or 75% barangays. Further, the Dangerous Drugs Board 2015 National Household Survey disclosed that there are around 1.8 million drug users in the country, of which more or less 690,000 or 38% are unemployed. During the Senate hearing on Thursday, August 18, 2016, it was announced that the country has more or less 3.7 million drug users nationwide. This situation indicates the magnitude of the drug problem in our country, and while much has been done to eradicate illegal drugs, the problem persists and has become worse, especially at the grassroots level. Through the Philippine National Police Anti-Illegal Drugs Campaign Plan Double Barrel, from July 1 to August 21, 2016, the police was able to arrest a combined total of 10,153 drug pushers and users. Meanwhile, for the same period, a total of more than 600,000 individuals surrendered in line with Double Barrel. Further, more than 6,000 police operations were conducted in various regions nationwide, wherein 718 were killed as a result of police operations, and an estimated DDV value of more than 2.3 billion pesos of illegal drugs was confiscated. The PNP stand against extrajudicial killing is uncompromising. If any policeman is found that he violated the law on self-defense, he will be investigated, prosecuted, and accordingly punished. On the speculations of vigilante killings, the PNP does not and will never condone vigilante killings. I have previously mentioned that these killings are perpetrated by various syndicate groups involved in illegal drugs. Therefore, the PNP will extend the full force of the law against those responsible for these crimes. Umaasa po ako na ang pagdinig na ito ay tunay na makakatulong sa ating mithiin upang mabigyan ng solusyon ang problema sa illegal na droga. Rest assured that your police is more than willing to adapt the lessons that will come out of this hearing. The PNP remains loyal to our sworn mandate to serve and protect the Filipino people in accordance with the rule of law. Maraming salamat po.
Senator Sonny Trillanes, do you have a different point
Madam Chair,
of questioning? Yes.
I'd just like to go back to Ms. Hara, the witness. Dahil interesado ako, while marami kasing reaction na yung mga addict daw, they deserve to die, yung mga reaction ng mga kababayan natin. Pero dun sa salaysay kanina ni Ms. Hara, yung father-in-law nyo ba ay gumagamit ng droga? Sa pagkakaalam nyo?
Hindi ko po
Hindi, wag kayo tumingin dun sa abogado. Dapat alam nyo yan for a fact.
Hindi, alam ko po kasi time na yon sumuko po si Papa.
Ha?
Sumuko na po siya noon. Yung time
So,
pong yon.
gumagamit din siya?
Opo. So, yung asawa ko na lang po yung talagang hindi pa sumusuko. Opo, kasi nga, di ba po, takot po talaga ako na yun nga, mangyari po sa kanya yun.
Okay. So as far as you are concerned, yung father-in-law mo, tsaka yung asawa mo, user ng droga?
Hindi po, asawa ko lang po.
Okay.
I mean, asawa ko lang po talaga yung nagbebenta, hindi po yung father niya.
Yung father-in-law mo,
Yung tanong po is user, gumagamit din
User
po ba?
lang.
Yung father-in-law, sa pagkaalam nyo.
Noon ang alam ko po. Kasi, ang alam ko po, sumuko na po sila eh. May mga hawak na po sila mga papel po eh.
okay, pero hindi siya pusher
Hindi
as far
po.
as you're
Hindi
concerned. Sila ba ay, kasi sinasabi nila na yung mga addict daw, nire-rape yung mga anak, pinapatay yung kung sino-sino. Sa pagkakaalam mo, yung father-in-law mo, tsaka yung asawa mo, ano ba sila?
Asawa ko po talaga, hindi totally ganun. Alam niyo po, ako, minsan hindi niya po ako tinampian ng kamay. Murahin mo po siya sa labas, hindi siya sumasagot. Wala. Ang alam mo po, ang gusto lang po niya, sa bahay lang po siya, naglalaro, niyalaro lang po yung bata, yun lang po ang bisyo niya, ganun lang po.
So yung asawa nyo, hindi naman niya sinasaktan yung anak ninyo,
Hindi po.
kayo hindi kayo sinasaktan.
Hindi po.
Kasi ang sinasabi nila, yung mga addict, may mga biktima yan na yan yung mga gumagahasa ng kung sino-sino. So hindi naman.
Hindi po.
Yung father-in-law mo,
Hindi rin po, mabait po si Papa sobra.
mabait. So yun yung sa pagkakaalam ninyo.
Opo, kasi kahit magtanong po kayo doon sa kung saan po dati kami nakatira, kung saan po kami dati, marami po magsasabi sa inyo na ni minsan po wala po kayo mababalitaan na may kaaway si Papa or ang asawa ko po.
Okay.
Kasi sobra pong bait talaga ng mag-ama.
So, ngayon, ang tanong dito, kung ganyan yung pagkakakilala nyo sa mag-ama, bakit sila pinatay?
Yun nga po, ang akin lang po kasi, hindi lahat ng adik masama. Kaya po nila magbago.
Hindi. Ando doon tayo, no? Pero nga, base sa mga nakita nyong pangyayari, bakit nga sila,
Wala po kung ano, wala po
hindi
akong
nyo alam
idea.
kung bakit sila pinatay doon sa Said?
Wala po akong idea.
Hindi nyo,
I'm sorry to interject, as Senator Sani, gusto ko lang maano tong punto na ito. Bakit nung pagdating nung 3 pulis ay naghahanap sila ng shabu?
Yun po talaga yun rin po ang pinagtataka ko. Bakit? Siguro dahil may nahulihan na po sila dati? Or gusto po nila magkapera ulit? Hindi ko po alam eh. Hindi ko po alam.
ang sa akin kasi, kaya ako pinupursu yan, dahil baka ito lang kailangan lang i-refresh mo yung memory mo. Baka itong 3 pulis na ito dati ng kaugnayan nung inyong asawa. Maaring hindi nyo alam, pero baka ganun nga.
Hindi po. Kasi asawa ko po talaga, hindi po siya naglilihim lahat. Kumbaga lahat po niya
Okay.
sinasabi sa akin.
So, nung sinabi nyo na dati siya nagtutulak, sino yung supplier niya?
Wala po.
Saan siya kumukuha ng supply?
Yun nga po. Kumbaga sabi ko nga po sa inyo pantawid, gutom lang po ang ginagawa niya.
Hindi, miski na,
Sa,
kahit papano.
sa pinakaano po dun, sa Pasay. Kasi sabi ko nga po sa inyo, Pasay po, ang balita po talaga doon ay police rin po yung nagbabagsak.
Yon. Okay.
Apo.
Hindi, kailangan kasi ano kayo, no? Kailangan dito mas open kayo, mas totoo yung salaysay ninyo. Huwag nyo niyang poproteksyonan kung palagay nyo talagang nagtutulak yung inyong asawa. Simple yan. Yung source niya, may pinagkukuhanan siya.
Sa mga ano po yun, dun sa Pasay rin mismo pero hindi po sa police.
Hindi sa pulis.
Opo. May yung parang mangyayari po ng parang yung taong binabagsakan siguro ng police, doon siya siguro kumukuha, parang ganun.
Senator Sani, I'm sorry to interject because, okay, witnesses are supposed to testify on personal knowledge and we heard her already na hindi niya alam. But may I just inform the good senator here that we have other witnesses, including the second one that we intend to present right now which can also, you know, her story is such that it could be able to depict that kind of a situation about the possible involvement. Because, again, while this is not a court of law, this is not a quasi-judicial body, and therefore the technical rules of evidence are not supposed to be strictly applicable. But in the interest also of orderly proceedings and so as not to unnecessarily affect witnesses, let's limit our questions as much as possible to personal knowledge or to matters that fall within the personal or direct knowledge of the witness. So when a witness says that she doesn't know, then that's it.
Madam Chair.
So thank you, Senator. You're done with your questioning, Senator Sani. Senator Kiko.
Just very quickly, para kay Hara. Nasabi mo kasi kanina na pampatawid gutom lang. Ano ibig sabihin nun? Ano ba trabaho nung late husband mo?
Dati po kasi driver po siya.
Driver?
Opo, family driver po.
So,
Sa
namamasukan
Merville.
siya?
Pa?
Namamasukan siya bilang driver?
Opo.
Tapos,
Tapos yun nga po, ano po siya, natanggal sa, umalis na po sa trabaho niya, parang ganun po.
Driver ng jeep?
Di po, family
family
driver po.
So, dito sa sinasabing pampatawid gutom, magkano ang kinikita niya?
Ano po, kumbaga sa isang araw po, yung parang panghapunan po namin hanggang sa kagabihan, parang ganun po.
So, magkano yun?
Parang-
200, 500?
Hindi po ganun, mga...
Hindi ganun kalaki?
Hindi po.
Sa pagtutulak?
Opo.
So, magkano? 300 pesos
Opo,
isang araw?
ganun po.
So sa halagang 300 pesos isang araw, kumikita siya habang siya'y nagpe-peddle ng drugs. Pero ang sinasabi mo, ito'y para lang,
Tawid gutom lang po.
saan kayo nakatira? Malaki ba
Pasay
bahay
po. Kung makikita niyo pong bahay namin, liit lang po ng bahay po namin.
niyo? So yung sinasabi mo, pantustos lang sa araw-araw na
Apo,
pangangailangan
apo.
nung pamilya. So
Apo.
300 to 400 pesos sa isang araw, ganun?
Mga ganun lang po.
Tapos pagka titigil siya magtulak, saan siya kumukuha ng ibang pagkakakitaan?
Hindi, kasi ang plano po talaga namin, nung time pong yun, nung susuko na po talaga siya, ang time po namin, lumayo na po. Lumayo na po. Kahit sabi ko ang ganun, kahit miski pisunduling, wala tayo, okay lang sa akin yun.
So masasabi mong kung meron siyang ibang pagkakakitaan,
Opo.
yung ba kumbaga, yun ang pupursigihin ninyo sa halip na itong...
Opo. Willing naman po siya.
So pagka sa usapin po nung pagresolba nitong problema na nagpepedel itong maliliit na mga puser, malaking bagay kung meron silang mapupuntahang trabaho
Opo.
para hindi na sila gagawa nitong kalokohan na
Opo.
trabahong kikita sila ng 200, 300 sa isang araw. Salamat
Opo.
po.
Thank you so
Madam
much.
Just-
Senator Cheese, is there...
A parliamentary inquiry and procedure, Madam Chair. Nagpalista ho kasi yung mga senador para magtanong in a sequence according to their arrival. Kanina pa naghihintay din si Joel siguro at si Nancy. May I know the intent of the chair with respect to the presentation? Yung 4 po bang testigo ay magbibigay ng kani-kanilang salaysay, tapos mabibigay ng pagkakataon yung mga senador na magtanong according to the time allotted?
Yes.
Kasi ang lumalabas na po parang
Thank you.
mag-aalauna na ho. At, so, if
Thank you
possible...
for raising that, Senator Cheese. Yes, I know that the initial announcement is that the questioning by the senators would be in the order of their arrival, but it just so happened that's because certain points were raised in the course of the testimonies of the witness and the other resource persons, kaya napilitan po na magtanong yung ilan-ilan po sa atin. If
May I suggest, Madam Chair, that if the body will agree, to let the witnesses give their side. They submitted affidavits anyway.
Yes.
In fact, they can just simply perhaps attest to the affidavits that they submitted after a brief discussion of the facts so that we can proceed accordingly both today and tomorrow, Madam Chair.
yes, Senator Cheese, thank you so much for that. Senator Hontiveros, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Magandang umaga po sa ating lahat. Ang yumawa kong asawa ay isang police din, PNP officer. Alam ko ang nadaramang takot at pangamba ng mga katulad kong babae tuwing ang kanilang mga mister o partner ay papasok sa trabaho upang gampanan ang kanilang tungkulin. Hanggang ngayon, tanda ko pa ang pang-araw-araw na pangamba nung mag-boyfriend-girlfriend pa lang kami. Paano kung siya ay mapahamak o magbuwis siya ng kanyang buhay sa pagtupad ng sinumpaang tungkulin. Naranasan ko rin ang sakit na mawala ng asawang pulis. Bagamat ang aking asawa ay hindi pumanaw sa engkwentro, siya ay binawian ng buhay sa gitna ng kanyang assignment at malayo sa amin. Sa mga kababaihang asawa o partner ng mga pulis at sa ating buong kapulisan, hangad ko po ang inyong kaligtasan at panatag na loob ng inyong mga pamilya. Makakaasa po kayo sa akin. Makakaasa si Chief PNP Doroy de la Rosa, ang mista ng aking yumaong asawa at aking kaibigan. Gagawin ko ang lahat ng aking makakaya bilang senador upang masiguro ang inyong kaligtasan at maprotektahan kayo sa panganib sa kampanya ng gobyerno laban sa droga. Kasama ng maraming mga mamamayan, hangad ko na magtagumpay kayo at magkaroon tayo ng mapayapang bansa. Pero sana maintindihan din po ng lahat, Madam Chair. Nagagawin ko rin po ang lahat ng aking makakaya upang ipagtanggol ang karapatang pantao ng bawat mamamayan. Ito po ay isang tungkulin na ating sinumpaan, lalo na ng ating kapulisan. Ang ating kampanya laban sa droga ay hindi dapat mauwi sa simpleng pagbibilang ng mga napatay. Dapat ang sukatan ng matagumpay na kampanya laban sa droga ay ang pagdami ng bilang ng mga buhay na napabuti, na ituwid at nailigtas. The war on drugs should not be reduced to killings. It must be a just campaign to promote new beginnings. I believe that in the government's war against drugs, we cannot play gods and decide whose lives matter and whose lives don't. Sabi nga, ano ang sukat ng halaga ng isang buhay? Paano natin tinitimbang ang buhay na mahalaga at ang buhay na pwede na lamang baliwalain at pwedeng kitilin? Ano ang batayan na magsasabing ang isang buhay ay may silbi pa at ang isa na may wala ng pag-asa? Sino ang lalagyan ng cardboard o sunod na ilalagay sa kill scoreboard? Hindi lang iisang tao o iisang grupo ang may kapangyarihan na husgahan ang kapwa Pilipino. May justice system ang ating demokrasya. Mabagal man o may kahinaan, hindi ito pwede isang tabi. Dito po dapat patas na tinitimbang o sinusukat ang paglabag sa batas at sa makataong paraan po ipinapataw ang karampatang parusa. Madam Chair, to my dear PNP leadership, and to all the guests of this committee today, we must shift the focus of this war on drugs from vendetta to real justice, from shortcuts to reforms, from punishment to treatment, Madam Chair, from mere killing to healing. This approach is not only restorative and just, it is also the more humane path. Let us not lose our humanity in the face of fear and barbarity. Maraming salamat po at mabuhay po tayong lahat.
Allow me to give my 2 cents worth, Madam Chair. Let us hit closer to home, Madam Chairperson. Last April, I was given information because during my 5-year break out of politics, I was able to establish a bit of small, medium enterprises in Cagayan de Oro and Bukidnon. Last April, I was told na doon daw sa aming planta sa Cagayan de Oro ay may mga shabu addict. So ang ginawa po natin ay nagpatawag po ako ng tulong sa City Hall employees ng Department of Health na empleyado sa City Hall at nagconduct po ako ng drug test sa aking mga tauhan. Madam Chair, out of the 30 employees that we had, 10 ang positive sa shabu. That is a third of my workforce. A third. Nakakagulat dahil marami doon ay masaya na sa buhay at maganda po kanilang sweldo at benepisyo. Ay dala ko po galing sa Bukidnon at kinausap ko po sila. At tinanong ko sila, bakit kayo bumuklok sa shabu? Nang ganda ng buhay nyo na yun. Alam mo ang sagot sa akin, Madam Chair? Doon sa labas ng aming gate, doon sa Barangay Agusan, sa Cagayan de Oro, napakadaling bumili ng shabu. 20 pesos lang, 20 pesos, Madam Chair, ang isang sachet ng shabu na mas mura pa sa isang pack of cigarettes. So they said, they do a hit in the morning, and when the hit is gone, they do the hit in the evening. Ganon kagrabe at lala ang sitwasyon ng droga na yon. Madam Chair, Mexico, I had a briefing recently, Mexico is losing the war on drugs. Their killings there are not done by government. Pero yung mga massacres doon are being done by the drug cartels, the Mexican drug cartels. Pinupugutan yung mga ulo. They hang them upside down. And sooner or later, if we do not nip this at the bud, and I'm saying it's not even in the stage of a bud, it is now a full-grown weed, Madam Chair. We have to congratulate the PNP for the job that they're doing now because they're risking life and limb at sila mismo namamatayan. Madam Chair, sa totoo lang, after Digong Duterte, the President, had become President of the Republic, that the shabu dealers in that barangay, out of a legitimate operation, patay. Ngayon, bumalik po ako doon. Ang sabi nila sa akin, tumahimik ang barangay. Wala na nang gugulo sa kanila. Ganun. That's the reality on the ground. And dapat ipakita din po natin yun dahil yung mga pamilyang apektado sa drug-related crimes are unbearable. Imagine a third of the workforce. What if you had 3 children and one of your children?
Excuse me, Senator Nix, I'm sorry.
So that's it,
with
Madam
due
Chair.
respect.
I know,
Thank you.
Madam Chair. Although I've been given 5 minutes, hindi pa siguro ako umabot niyan. But Madam Chair, again, I would just like to show the severity of the situation. I was principal author of the anti-drug law together with Senator Soto when I was a member of the House of Representatives. And it's only today that I see effects. Thank you, Madam Chair.